asked them about that one particular part where everybody's talking, and they all cried out Epstein Island. And I went, oh, okay. Now I understand what we're up against.
Wow.
Epstein Island isn't the only sex island out.
In Hollywood, there's an unwritten rule. You play the game, you keep your mouth shut, you fall in line, and if you don't, they destroy you. Well, Jim Caviezel refused to fall in line, especially when it came to exposing Hollywood's dark secrets, and they made him pay. They destroyed his career, blacklisted him, mocked him, tried to erase him from the industry, but despite industry pushback, he remained true to himself. A rare commitment to integrity in modern Hollywood. Where most people would have broken, now he is exposing what they did to him. The blacklisting, the retaliation, the people who tried to silence him. So, what did Hollywood do to Jim Caviezel? Why did they target him? And what secrets was he trying to expose? I investigated the claims, and what I found will leave you shocked.
I will tell you this right now. I would absolutely die. If this were to change the world and get rid of and pornography and all of the 8 arms of this octopus that has to be destroyed, the only way you can destroy it is take the head out. If that hit...
Most Hollywood careers follow a recognizable pattern. You climb, you peak, you adapt, or you fade away. Jim Caviezel's career, however, does not follow this typical shape. When examined closely beyond the headlines and controversies, his story reveals something genuinely rare, not just in Hollywood, but in public life generally. It is the story of a man whose deeply held convictions became the very foundation upon which his entire career was built. Jim Caviezel, often recognized for his dark, mysterious persona and compelling performances, once seemed destined to become one of Hollywood's leading men. From playing a soldier in World War II, to a swashbuckler seeking revenge, to a golfer, then a homeless person, and ultimately Jesus Christ. Caviezel's career has been a fascinating journey, marked by both triumph and controversy. Jim Caviezel was born in 1968 in Washington State. He was offered a full scholarship to the prestigious Juilliard School in New York. However, he declined this opportunity after being cast as Warren Earp in Kevin Costner's Wyatt Earp. Although the film was a box office bomb, Caviezel continued to take on small roles, including appearances in Ed alongside Matt LeBlanc and as a fighter pilot in Michael Bay's The Rock. In 1997, Caviezel starred alongside Demi Moore in Ridley Scott's G.I. Jane. His career took a significant turn when he was cast in The Thin Red Line. This film, noted for its chaotic yet beautiful production, earned Caviezel a nomination for Most Promising Actor by the Chicago Film Critics Association. His performance stood out among a cast of legendary actors, signaling a bright future. Following this, Caviezel worked with director Ang Lee in the 1999 film Ride with the Devil, which unfortunately was a box office failure. However, he soon landed his first major starring role in the sci-fi thriller Frequency, opposite Dennis Quaid. The film received strong reviews for its suspense and performances and made a decent profit. Caviezel's career included roles in films like Pay It Forward, where he played a homeless man, and Angel Eyes, a romantic drama with Jennifer Lopez. Notably, Caviezel refused to film any sinful or unclothed adult scenes, citing his faith and respect for his wife. This stance marked the first significant instance where his religious beliefs influenced his career choices and, most significantly, clashed with the unspoken Hollywood status quo, where you are supposed to do as you are told without any questions.
Children, there is something that I can't even fathom. I had no choice but to go in, and I hear the screams in my heart. I hear the screams because of the agents that I got to work with, got to show me things, and one particular time he says, "Are you sure you want to go further?" It took me 2 years.
In 2002, Caviezel starred in The Count of Monte Cristo, an adventure film that received positive reviews and performed respectably at the box office. Despite this, subsequent films such as High Crimes, Highwaymen, and I Am David failed to impress critics or audiences. Then the pivotal moment in Caviezel's career came when he was cast as Jesus Christ in Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ, and this is when things behind the scenes began to change for Jim.
But what were we talking about?
Caviezel playing Christ.
He did something, I think, that nobody else did, and I think he pulled it off because I totally believed it.
I believed it too.
And it was like, what did he do? He emptied himself out.
Yeah.
And he invited something else in. And he left it. He didn't try anything. He emptied himself out and he meditated. And he let Christ in.
Now, according to insider reports at the time, a lot of things were happening leading up to Jim taking on his role in the Passion of the Christ. Jim Caviezel had already proven he wouldn't fall in line with what Hollywood wanted, and repercussions had already started to show. Any project he wanted to work on was getting shut down, or allegedly people behind the scenes were deliberately trying to make his project fail. But as a devout Catholic, Caviezel was eager to take on this challenging role. Mel Gibson himself warned him that the role could destroy his career, but Caviezel accepted it as his cross to bear. Gibson said he had initially offered him the role, only to call him back 20 minutes later and beg him not to take it. He said, "You'll never work in this town again," Caviezel recalled. "I told him, we all have to embrace our crosses." He added, "Jesus is as controversial now as he has ever been. Not much has changed in 2,000 years.
It did.
As a human being.
Oh, absolutely.
And kind of him up in his career.
A little bit. Yeah.
Because people associated him entirely with that film, and then they associated him with Christianity, and then they associated him with right-wing politics, and
yeah. And then, you know, he got sidetracked by a few guys. I mean, there's some people out there who, like, they get in your ear, and it's like, you know, it's like Cassius, you know, talking to Brutus.
Right.
And they get you up to make a speech somewhere, and next thing you know, it's like, you know, people throwing eggs at you. And it's like, and you wonder, you know, should I even be saying this?
A passionate Christian, Caviezel told the audience at the First Baptist Church of Orlando in 2011. He had learned to accept that the destruction of his acting career was a price worth paying. "We have to give up our names, our reputations, our lives to speak the truth," he said. Though he labeled Gibson a horrible sinner, he said the actor turned filmmaker should not be vilified. "Mel Gibson doesn't need your judgment. He needs your prayers," Caviezel said. Now, the production of the movie was notoriously difficult. Caviezel endured numerous injuries, including being struck by lightning alongside the assistant director, accidental whipping that left a 14-inch scar, a dislocated shoulder, pneumonia and hypothermia from filming the crucifixion scene in freezing conditions. He even underwent 2 major heart surgeries after production due to the physical toll.
What did that role change him? Because it seemed to have strengthened his faith.
Sure, it did. Yeah. He got in real tight with it, and I think he had some experiences while he was doing it. He suffered a little, you know, and
didn't he get struck by lightning?
Well, there's 2 times there was these lightning strikes happening on the set.
Despite these hardships, Caviezel considered the experience absolutely worth it. The film opened on Ash Wednesday in 2004 and became the most successful independent film ever made. Grossing over $612 million worldwide on a $30 million budget, it tied with The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King for the highest Wednesday to Sunday opening week. Reviews were mixed. Some praised the intense and faithful portrayal of the story, while others found the violence excessive. Regardless, the film became a cultural and religious phenomenon, with churches organizing group viewings. Caviezel's performance was widely acclaimed for its depth and authenticity, especially given that he performed in languages he did not speak. His portrayal conveyed profound pain and spirituality, captivating audiences worldwide. However, back in Hollywood, people didn't like Jim Caviezel. Despite the movie's success, Jim Caviezel and Mel Gibson got bashed in the media, and they eventually got blacklisted.
It was a crazy movie because it was a great movie, but it seemed like there was resistance to that movie, which I thought was very strange. There was like Hollywood resistance to that movie. Like people didn't like that you were making it.
There was a lot of opposition to it, and I don't know. I think if you ever hit on that subject matter, you're gonna get people going.
After that backlash, the roles Jim kept getting became smaller and smaller until they stopped and disappeared. Fast forward to 2023, Jim released Sound of Freedom, and that's when he started exposing what was really going on behind the scenes. Sound of Freedom was personal for Jim and his wife, who have adopted children, including those with significant medical needs. The film's themes of child vulnerability and moral imperative were not abstract or political statements, but heartfelt commitments. And just like The Passion of the Christ, this movie was also getting a lot of hate from Hollywood, and everybody wondered why. Out of nowhere, a movie exposing rings started getting called a conspiracy.
This movie zeroes in on the multi-billion-dollar human trafficking industry and honors a hero, someone who saved children from slavery. But to the media, this person isn't a hero. Someone who rescues kids from pedophiles is a villain.
These films are created out of moral panics. They're created out of bogus statistics. They're created out of fear. And with something like Sound of Freedom, it specifically is looking at QAnon concepts of these child rings that are run by the high-level elites.
For some reason, the entire media is smearing this movie as a dangerous conspiracy theory. The press is saying that the star, Jim Caviezel, is a QAnon guy. And Jim plays Tim Ballard, which is strange because just a few years ago, the same media was celebrating Tim Ballard's heroics. Watch.
In fact, in an interview shared via Time Angel Studios CEO, denied the film's political or conspiratorial messages. Anybody who watches this film knows that this film is not about conspiracy theories. It's not about politics. Sound of Freedom director Alejandro Monteverde has also denied the film's QAnon connections to Variety, referring to the press backlash as all wrong and heartbreaking. I was like really sick. I was like, look, this is all wrong. That's not true. It was heartbreaking when I saw all this polemic and all this controversy going on. Following the film's release, several allegations were made against its creators and producers, and most notably, Tim Ballard. While Ballard separated himself from conspiracy connections, he has since faced allegations of assault and misconduct. But this didn't stop Jim Caviezel from telling people what was really going on. Evil doesn't like to be exposed. When Jim Caviezel said God's children are not for sale, I couldn't hold back the tears. This monstrosity needs to end, and we need to do our part. God, please protect the children. The fact that they are making this about politics is absurd. This should be a universal issue we all can agree on. I'm so happy these creeps are getting exposed. Justice is served. Thank you, Tim, and to everyone who worked on The Sound of Freedom.
It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But I had a lot of experience from the Passion of the Christ. And we were humiliated. We were taken through the ringer in the media. This was before Trump came out and said it was, the lying media and the fake news. And they were fake news back when we were doing that. But we had to fight for everything we had.
Despite the controversies and career challenges, Jim Caviezel remains committed to his faith and the types of films he chooses to make. He has expressed that money and fame were never his goals. Rather, serving his faith was paramount. Excitingly, Caviezel and Mel Gibson have announced a sequel to The Passion of the Christ, titled The Passion of the Christ Resurrection. Caviezel claims this upcoming film will be the biggest film in history, though the release date remains uncertain. Across 3 decades and diverse projects, a consistent thread runs through Caviezel's career: suffering and endurance, bearing witness to injustice. The outsider is governed by an internal moral code. Redemption is earned through cost rather than luck. He was not merely playing roles, he was expressing his identity and convictions through them. Most actors learn to compartmentalize, separating their personal beliefs from their professional personas. Hollywood rewards this flexibility. Caviezel refused to do so, paying a measurable professional price, yet he remains active, outspoken, and entirely himself. The question is not what happened to Jim Caviezel, but what it means. That in one of the loudest, most transactional industries on earth, he remained stubbornly and completely true to himself, at real cost. In a world that often demands compromise, Caviezel's story is a rare testament to personal conviction and integrity. That in itself is quite something. Jim Caviezel refused to fall in line. He exposed Hollywood's dark secrets. They destroyed his career, but he never stopped. The Passion of the Christ, Sound of Freedom, The Passion of the Christ, Resurrection. Each time Hollywood tried to silence him, each time the media attacked him, each time he kept going. Most people would have broken, most would have compromised, most would have played the game. Not Jim Caviezel. What does it mean that in one of the most transactional industries on earth, he remained stubbornly true to himself? It means integrity still exists. It means principle still matters. It means one person can make a difference. The question is not what happened to Jim Caviezel. The question is, why aren't there more like him? Comment below with your thoughts. Do you admire Jim Caviezel's commitment to his convictions? Was Hollywood wrong to blacklist him? And why do so few celebrities have his courage?